Bands who have replaced their lead singer, were they any good? You tell me right after we tell you on today's round of...
Hey, that's our show. Yeah, that's what it's called. Hey, man. How's it going?
When I say that, what's the first group that comes to mind in your
Van Halen
brain? Van Halen. Oh, and we even had Sammy versus Dave talk a while back. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Any good?
So well, of course it's good because they lasted a really, really long time.
I guess it
did. With Sammy Hagar. Now, that argument is still valid today. David against Sammy. Who was better?
Two different eras, two different sounds.
Right, because Sammy brought something different that in Van Halen, musically it changed it a little bit more. He was freer to allow the use of keyboards from Eddie. And he
that also was played guitar, so he kind of
David Lee Roth wasn't that big of a fan of Eddie bringing the keyboards in for 1984.
No.
He thought it was going to take away from what Van Halen was known for, which, when Sammy came in, I thought at first on a lot of the stuff that he was trying to do, to me, he was trying to copy, the cool guyness that David Lee Roth was.
Yeah.
Whatever from 5150, the song.
Hello, baby. I love that.
Come on. That's so trying to be Diamond Dave. It's unreal.
Well, if you think about it, they had to ease him in there because you're basically talking about, Van Halen just come off their, arguably their, quintessential Van Halen song with 1980 album with 1984. So they're replacing with a completely different style as singers. So I feel like he kind of pulled from there a little bit, but then he kind of gradually started doing his own thing, like Dreams.
And bringing his original styling to it. Yeah. And so that worked.
Yeah.
That worked. Now, I'll tell you what I won't do. I've got two different Van Halen playlists on my Spotify.
You won't mix them.
I do not mix the two eras together. Sorry.
No.
Not going to do it. Not gonna do it.
Well, I will tell you, of those two singers, I think they were both extremely successful with both singers. But of the two, the only one who can still sing is Sammy Hagar.
Wow. If it's a longevity on vocalization competition, Sammy wins hands down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm sorry. Listening to Diamond Dave, even when he got back with Van Halen, what was that, 4 or 5 years ago, and listening to that, I don't know, man, image, the way you look has something to do with it too. And Diamond Dave just looks like some poor old Jewish boy.
And I don't know if you have seen,
and he looks stupid.
Have you seen any footage from his latest tour? Ooh. Like where first of all, he's got these backup singers that are doing most of the singing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's not even talk singing. He's barely contributing.
All he's doing, he's letting his 11-foot long nose stick out.
Yeah.
It sticks out more because he's so
blunt.
Jay, you got more hair than Diamond Dave does. And and all he does is look at the crowd and with a big cheesy grin. Sort of like, I can't believe you guys are buying this shit.
He's like Gilderoy Lockhart. He's got nothing. Unfortunately, I loved him.
And it's so sad because in 1978, 79, early 80s, man, you thought Van Halen, that was America's rock band, right?
Oh, they were badass. Yeah.
And that should go on forever. But I got a band for you.
Okay.
Oh,
that to me, replaced their lead singer but did not change their musical styling at
Can I
all.
take a guess?
To me, yes.
AC/DC?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a great one.
Because AC/DC was nothing but good time rock and roll. Now, lyrically, Bon Scott, to me, in those older AC/DC songs, lyrically, he had some really funny lines. Okay, they were just fun. And I just don't think of anything necessarily, funny from Brian Johnson.
No.
But, I just don't think there was much change whatsoever. And all you did was get a different singer. You didn't change the way you were approaching your songs musically.
That one worked.
Yeah.
Also, that one also worked.
Yeah. Yeah, that one worked.
Well, yeah. I personally again, that's almost too. In fact, when they were the Back in Black was, one of their biggest hits, and that was post Bon Scott. But Bon Scott actually there's a recording, a demo of him singing Back in Black. Back in Black.
Back in Black, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that.
It's good. I think personally, I thought Bon Scott had just the cooler vocals.
His voice was, to me, it was unique.
Yeah.
And he could scratch it up, but for the most part, not like the Brian Johnson's vocals always sounded scratchy.
Yeah.
Like his vocal cords were made of steel wool.
Speaking of that, Slash came out with an album. I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. And the album was called My Internet's Too Slow. No.
That's the name of the album.
Yeah. The album was called Orgy of the Damned. It came out in May of last year.
It's a good title.
It's just him Slash with different singers. And there's a song, it's a blues song called Killing Floor. And it features Brian Johnson singing lead vocals on it. And he sounds nothing like he does with AC/DC. He's singing it like lower, just straight. Right. And it sounds amazing.
And a more clear voice.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Any of Brian Johnson before he joined AC/DC? The stuff he was singing almost like pop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And his voice was clear. It wasn't all still woolly. Still, especially Back in Black, For Those About to Rock. See, to me, Thunderstruck, some good songs on it, but to me, that's where I'm hearing him straining.
Yeah.
But Back in Black and For Those About to Rock, that vocalization to me, I mean, that was great. That was just great. I've got another band for you.
Okay.
But just probably not as well known for the stuff they did when they replaced the lead singer.
Okay.
That would be Judas Priest.
Oh, Ripper.
With Tim Ripper Owens, when they replaced Rob Halford with Tim. Now, again, this is heavy metal, and Judas Priest wasn't known for the radio hits and all that crap, but they went out and they found a Judas Priest tribute band singer.
Yeah.
And you listen to any of the live recordings with Ripper Owens, and there's many times I can't tell the difference between him and Rob Halford.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
There's a big difference in the ages between these two vocalists.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say only because of that, Ripper Owens can still rip it and Rob Halford can't.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, there's somebody who's changing the way he approaches their old classic songs.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to do all of that screaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Still sounds great on their new album then.
I got one for you.
Well, when you've got days upon days to, wake up in the morning at the right time and go in and lay down the vocals for that one track. Well, here's another one. Well, they never replaced. I mean, he's not a replacement, but what they have to do, a striper, what they have to do. Michael on the albums, their new recordings. Oh yeah, he's hitting those high pitched screams.
Yeah.
You go see him in concert. He's letting the people in the crowd do it.
Yeah, and he's also. I mean, they've lowered they've taken everything down at least a half step. Yeah.
Right.
And I have no problem with that. Billy Joel did that.
Right.
And he still sounds amazing.
Let me ask you this, though. You don't have a problem with that, but do you have a toast?
Oh, do I ever have a toast? Boy, do I have a toast. Man, I'm telling you, there's so many toasts. Sometimes you just talk and hope the right words come out. Cheers.
Cheers. I actually like that. Sometimes just talking. That's going on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Let's see.
I've got one.
Okay.
I've got a couple, but this one actually, bands that were, kind of like Van Halen, because they were became two different sounds, but Genesis. Peter Gabriel left and was replaced by Phil Collins.
Probably the greatest thing to happen to Genesis.
Yeah.
What?
I think that for their success, that was the greatest thing to ever happen to Genesis, because yes, they were all very prog rock with Peter Gabriel. And then when Phil took over, I don't know if it was his idea, if it was the band's idea to say, hey, we can still do some really cool musical stuff, but let's simplify it more and get some commercial success. We're starving over here in England.
I can't get into the Peter Gabriel Genesis.
Oh,
it's some really weird stuff, man.
And I like a lot of old Yes, and I just can't get into the Peter Gabriel Genesis.
I like some of it. I mean, I like some songs, but yeah, Phil Collins and Genesis, that's the Genesis I love. That's an awesome.
So I got another one for you.
Okay.
And I may upset Shane with this.
Oh boy.
Journey.
Oh yeah.
Now what I'm going to say is, by the time they did Raised on Radio, Journey had it, so good riddance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, has Journey, maybe they have, I haven't heard of it. Have they had a hit since anything from Raised on Radio?
I don't think so.
No, they haven't, but their lead singer is the guy that was in a cover band. They found him online, and he sounds just like Steve Perry.
So as long as you're fine,
probably great.
Not having to do new music and just touring 6 months out of the year, and people still coming to see you because you had enough hits to sustain you. Sure. Yeah.
Well, they're about to go on their farewell tour, and I told Robin the only way I'd go to that is if Steve Perry came back and toured with them, but that ain't gonna happen.
Well, but I thought Jonathan Cain officially retired.
Did he?
And he's not doing it.
Well, so, I don't know.
And Ross Valerie's gone. Steve Smith is gone. So is it really Journey if it's just Neil Sean and these guys he's hired?
No.
Well, that's what I said about we saw the Temptations, and there's only one original member left of the band. And the band that played with them, there
were more original Temptations.
The Four Tops had 0 original members.
Right.
Okay. Well, a couple of things about that is a couple of months ago, I listened to Steve Perry's Christmas album from last year. And he doesn't need to be going on tour with Journey. He doesn't need to be doing that. He sounded really rough.
Yeah.
And then I also listened to Trial by Fire. Have y'all listened? It was their 1996 last album with Steve Perry. Have you ever listened to it?
Oh, I thought Raised on Radio was.
No, he came back and did one album with them.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not
that great.
Not very good. Yeah. Raised on Radio was kind of the end of Journey material, I guess.
Yeah.
And of course, you guys know that Steve Perry was not the original lead singer of Rush, of Journey, right? Or Rush, for that matter.
Steve Rutsey. How about?
No, hang on a second.
Greg Raleigh, who was the bass keyboardist at the time, Steve Perry joined the band to replace him as a singer.
I like their duets though.
I thought Greg Rowley was the keyboardist who also did vocals.
That's exactly what I just said.
Before Jonathan Cain, right?
But you said that Greg Rowley replaced
Steve Perry. I
thought Steve Perry was already doing vocals when Greg Rowley was in Journey.
No. He didn't come aboard. He came aboard later.
Really? I did not. Okay, I didn't know that.
And they had a couple of duets.
Yeah, they did.
I like those songs.
All right. Feels the same way.
Feeling that way.
Or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he started with the band. Steve Perry started with the band in 1977. And yeah, so they were already a band before then. And I guess Raleigh was the singer.
I think they were a big time sort of like long jamming bluesy band, right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Now, Shane was kind of like that before Dynasty Young. You what?
Did you say Pink Floyd?
Pink Floyd. Losing Roger Waters.
Count that.
Why not?
Well, Sid Barrett, when he left, that's when David Gilmour joined.
Not necessarily, though. Sid Barrett was still in the band. They brought David Gilmour on, really mainly to be playing guitar because they couldn't count on Sid.
Right. Because he was experiencing.
Maybe vocalized, but not. And then, he got checked into the mental institute and David was now in the band. But are you talking about when Roger Waters left the band?
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think you can count that because that whole time there wasn't a lead. Okay, when David Gilmour came in, Sid Barrett left, there was no longer really a lead vocalist. David was doing vocals and Roger Waters was doing vocals.
Yeah.
They
took turns.
And that would be like.
So you wouldn't count Kurt Smith leaving Tears for Fears either.
I didn't know he left Tears for Fears.
Yeah, there was like 3 albums where Roland Orzabal got a guy who sounded very Kurt Smith-like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But they were good, just not as good as the Kurt Smith stuff before.
I mean, when it's so set up as a duo, because let's say Paul Stanley had left Kiss.
Oh,
Gene and Paul had always traded, vocals on their album. There wasn't really necessarily a lead singer.
Then what about Alice in Chains? Did Lane Staley or did Jerry Cantrell sing enough that Alice in Chains wouldn't count?
See,
because there's a definite drop off in quality.
Right.
It's funny because the guy sounds enough like Lane Staley where you think it would work. And I love Jerry Cantrell's. Well, almost as much. I like Jerry Cantrell's solo stuff almost as much as I love Alice in Chains. But something about those post Lane Staley albums, I don't know if it's the writing or what, because I thought Jerry Cantrell wrote a good part of Alice in Chains.
Maybe.
But they're just not as good for whatever reason. An awful lot. I mean, it was mainly, it was almost about half, I think. I've never really counted it up, but.
If Paul Simon had replaced Art Garfunkel, they both did an equal amount of singing. So I guess when the name of your band is the two guys' last names, no, it's not the same band anymore. Sure. Okay, here's one for you. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this band before, but to me, I thought they were absolutely greatness. And I will say that in that time, maybe one of the best lead vocalists for a band. And that was Lou Gramm of Foreigner.
That's a pretty significant change. But I always hated Foreigner, so I didn't care.
Oh, well, see. So, Lou left and they brought in some Johnny guy. I forgot his name. They did one album with him. It didn't do good. And then Lou came back and they did like a greatest hits, recorded a couple of new songs. They were good. I liked them, but they really didn't do just a whole lot of new stuff. Then Lou got sick and sort of got together here and there, but then they found a Lou Gramm sound-alike. And that's who's been doing the vocals for Foreigner for the longest time until like their last little, I think, farewell thing that they've been doing. And they bring Lou and 2 of the original members back. One was a guitarist keyboardist and one was just strictly a keyboardist. And they come out and play some of the older stuff with them. But at that time, maybe it's because that band had just hit its climax and maybe they weren't going to have that radio commercial success anymore. Maybe still do some good stuff, but and one of the main reasons Lou Gramm left Warner, he got tired of the sugar-coated love ballads. He wanted to go back to writing songs like, Hot Blooded and Dirty White Boy and some good rocking songs while Mick Jones was struggling trying to find himself. I
was just like Julian Morgan and Fantasia.
Right. I mean, it would have been much better if we just would have let Gabriel do all the lead vocals.
I kept saying. There's a big one we're missing.
Oh.
Who's the big one we're missing?
Hang on.
That one band with the guy
died
with the people. Oh,
recently.
Queen.
Who?
Oh, recently.
Who died more recently?
Queen.
Died.
The Heartbreakers.
Black Sabbath.
Oh
yeah, Ozzy Osbourne.
Right. So you've got success. Who immediately replaced Ozzy? Was that Ronnie James or
Ronnie James Dio?
There,
a significant improvement in my opinion.
Yeah,
right. But I don't think Ronnie James was Ozzy's immediate replacement. I thought it was somebody else. Then they got rid of that guy. Then Ronnie James came. I may have my facts mixed up there, but I would say yes. Black Sabbath had success with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, of course, I'm a Dio. I like Dio. Here's
one for you. And to me, when I think of this band, I really only think of this one lead singer, but he wasn't the original lead singer. And that's Iron Maiden. When I think of Iron Maiden, I think of Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
But I think they had done one or two albums before him.
And I tried, I guess, Killers more than, what was the first one? Yeah, Killers I can listen to more than Iron Maiden, but there's like one song really I can take from Iron Maiden. I just don't like that guy's voice. I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but what is his name? The original.
Yeah, I have no clue.
And then,
I'm not the biggest Iron Maiden fan. I mean, I like Trooper, Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast, some of those, but there's a whole lot of Iron Maiden I just, don't know. To me, they were metal, but they were sort of like living in the back alley, dirty metal looking. And I didn't like that.
Dirtier than Judas Priest?
Oh, much dirtier.
Okay.
Judas Priest had uniforms. These guys looked like they were homeless, sort of like Metallica did when they first came out.
Speaking of which, they had a different lead singer, right?
Really?
Well,
yeah. It was before Jason Hetfield. It was
I didn't know
Mustaine. He's with Megadeth now.
Did Dave Mustaine sing?
Mustang?
Did Dave Mustaine sing? Mustang? Did Dave Mustaine sing?
I thought he
sang. I can't say sing. It comes out stang, sung, or
yeah. He was. Sting. He co-founded. He was the lead. No, I'm sorry. He was the lead guitarist.
Right.
Yeah.
He was replaced by Kirk Hammett.
Yeah.
On lead guitar.
That's a very interesting story. Not for this round, but Dave Mustaine's story is.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought James Hetfield was not the original singer, but he was.
What about that McCoy guy? That was I couldn't make it work. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going.
Hetfield, McCoy.
I am. Oh,
sorry.
Okay. You said that. Now
is it time to go?
Oh, it is so time to go.
Is that the ender?
Yeah,
that was the ender.
Just stop. I can't really think of. I mean, there's lots of those little quickie hair metal bands. Quiet Riot. To me, they only had the one good album and one good song after that, and even then, that was another cover song. I didn't think anything more about them.
What was the kid's name that took Freddie Mercury's place? Was he? Did that count? That just didn't really seem like it was replacing.
It wasn't because they called it his name plus Queen.
Yeah. Okay. Because
just like they did
on the list, and I'm like, that didn't really
in so much time.
Yeah.
And they didn't record anything new, or record anything new.
I don't think so. I think it was just to relive the good old days and have somebody who sounds just like them.
Yeah, that's what it says here.
Well, that was fun. That was interesting. I liked it. Well, you two can go to hell.
Wow.
I mean, I love you too. Also sports. Well, I feel like this plane's starting to sputter. And if we don't land it, it's going to be so dramatic and scary.
Sputtering for so long. So long.
It's been sputtering so long. Who's going to land this thing?
You're coming in too low, Striker.
Dear Beer Heart, we want to know what bands you think changed their lead singer. And we want you to tell us in the comments on Spotify or with Jay's lovely beertography on Instagram. We want to know what you think because that's all that really matters. Please subscribe. Please support us on Patreon. And then next Thursday, you won't even realize it, but on your phone, we will appear in the form of that next mystical round of Beer Thursday theme song. Well, beer first for the wow. Cut, pause, rewind, replay.